Hey racers, John Racer 3 today, back for the John Racer 3 X NASCAR Playoffs, and today we've got a special video for you guys. We've got 17 NASCAR diecasts that have all raced their way to the John Racer 3 X NASCAR Playoffs, and we've got the 3-lane fat track super speedway setup to crown ourselves a John Racer 3 X NASCAR champion. So let's go ahead and talk about the cars, how they're seated, how the tournament's going to work, and then who is going to join the Hall of Fame for John Racer 3 X NASCAR Playoff Champions. First, let's talk about the cars competing. I mentioned that there are 17 cars who are qualified and ready to race for these playoffs, and you may be asking yourself, but John, there are only 16 spots in the real-life NASCAR playoffs. Why are there 17 cars lined up here? Well, as you can probably mention, Eric Jones did not make the real-life NASCAR playoffs, but the 43 diecast did win the John Racer 3 X NASCAR Street Course Battle, which punched his ticket for the 17th seed of the playoffs. And on top of that, we did have some other race winners for the John Racer 3 X NASCAR Tournament Series who also entered into the real-life playoffs. Bubba Wallace won 2 races this year. He won both the short track battle and the teammate battle. We had the 21 of Josh Berry win that Daytona 500 season opener, and then we had Tyler Reddick win that final super speedway battle. And because all of those drivers won a tournament, they get +3 seeded spots for each win that they had on the season. So Bubba Wallace moved up 6 spots from his typical playoff seeding. Josh Berry moved up 3, as well as Tyler Reddick. Then of course the 43 is going to be our 17th seed because he's the last car competing. So now that you guys know why all these drivers are here, let's talk about how we're going to crown ourselves a champion. Pretty standard for this channel. Every race is going to be a 3-lap Grand Prix style race on the Fat Track Super Speedway, and it's going to be a hectic one because we're going to have 6 cars on the track from weeks 1 all the way through week 5 to see which drivers can survive and which drivers will get eliminated at the end of each Grand Prix. So for all of the matchups, the bottom cars are going to be eliminated and the top cars are going to be moving on to the next round, round after round, to see who can eventually make it to the final week live in Phoenix. All of these drivers that are seated very highly in the playoffs will have a better chance to survive, as they'll be starting on the front row and have a much better starting position for all their races and hopefully not get eliminated. And that means all the cars in the back will have to fight through the field to pick up their spots and move on to the next round. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see all 8 weeks of matchups compiled into one big video, but there are going to be elimination weeks and weeks where drivers are going to have to move on to the next round, to the next round, and to the next round. So the first 3 weeks are all going to be 6-car races, except for the last race is going to be 5-car races because that 43 is the 17th seed, and the bottom 2 cars are going to be eliminated. That'll bring us to the round of 12, where we'll continue doing 6-car matchups, and bottom 2 cars will keep getting eliminated all the way to the round of 8. After the round of 8, it's going to be some 4-car matchups, pretty standard for this channel, so no more 3 wide, and we're going to keep eliminating cars all the way down to week 8, where we're going to have 2 finalists to battle it out on the streets, at the track actually, in Phoenix. But that's basically all there is to it. Whoever wins in Phoenix will be crowned the 4th ever John Racer 3 X NASCAR Playoffs Champion. Kyle Larson won it last year, Ryan Blaney won it in 2023, and Kyle Busch won it in the first year in 2022. So now that you guys know how it's going to work, let's go ahead and get these matchups set up and start the racing. And here is what the first 3 weeks of matchups are going to look like based on the seeding that I just talked about. So our first seed, Kyle Larson's going to be leading the pack in the first week. The 24 is going to be leading the pack in the second week from the 2nd seed, and then Bubba Wallace with all those wins is the 3rd seed, and he's going to be leading that pack with only 5 cars, and only 1 of those cars will be eliminated instead of the 2 in each of these other matchups. I'll explain the seeding a little bit more as we continue on with this tournament, but all you need to know is that for the first couple matchups, the bottom 2 cars are going to get eliminated. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the John Racer 3 X NASCAR Playoffs. The bottom 2 cars Week 2 of the John Racer 3X NASCAR Playoffs has a ton of fan favorite drivers. Let's see what happens after lap 1. Look at that, we got a spin out from Elliott there, and it's going to be the 12 racing to the lead. His teammate Austin Cindric into the second, and then the 9's going to finish third. It's Logano, the 24, and it looks like Eric Jones, the John Racer 3X NASCAR Playoffs qualifier, finishing last and turning on his roof here. That is unfortunate for race 1. Lap 2, and anything can happen. We got a bunch of Penske cars there on the inside with some Hendrick cars, and that 43 looking to redeem himself for lap 2. Let's see what happens. Look at that, the 43 might not have had the best race, but he gave the 9 a huge shove, which is going to propel him to the lead for lap 3. Got the 22 in second, the 12 in third, the 2 falls down to fourth, and it's the 24 and 43 in jeopardy of being eliminated. Let's see what happens with 1 lap to go. All right, lap 3, it all comes down to this. The bottom 2 cars will be eliminated from championship contention. Who's going to survive and who isn't? Let's find out. Look at that. It is going to be a great race. It's going to be the 9 of Chase Elliott taking the win in front of Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. Austin Cindric's also going to move on, and the 43 looked like he was about to hold on to that 4th place position, but unfortunately falls short. And the 24 as well, after being seated 2nd in the actual playoffs, is getting eliminated in the 1st round. That is unfortunate for those guys. Some unfortunate eliminations, but a lot of drivers, including all the Penske drivers, are going to live to race another day and move on to the next round. But we got one more round, and this next one will have 5 cars with only 1 elimination. Stay tuned next week to see who else is getting eliminated from the John Racer 3X NASCAR Playoffs. Here are the weeks 4 and 5 matchups, and I'll explain a little bit as to the seeding to decide these. So the 5, the 9, and the 23 all won their respective races, so they're starting on the front row for the first matchup, and the 11, the 22, and the 20 finished 2nd in their respective matchups as well, so they'll be finishing or starting in the front row for the 2nd matchup here, and then the same kind of rules apply for the 3rd and 4th place cars here, getting into their own race. The 4th place cars here, 3rd place cars here. Pretty self-explanatory, but enough yapping. Let's go ahead and get on to the round of 12. All right, after the first 3 weeks of racing, we've got these 12 cars racing on to the next round, and here are going to be the next matchups. Let's jump right into the next round of the John Racer 3X NASCAR Playoffs. Look at that, it's going to be chaos at the back, close at the front between the 20 and the 22, but there's a wreck in the back. It's involving Austin Dillon, Denny Hamlin, Austin Cindric, and Ross Chastain as the 1 and the 2 cars fall into the elimination zone going into lap 2. Lap 2, the bottom 2 cars, remember at the back of lap 3, will be eliminated. Let's see what happens in lap 2. It's going to be a drag race, and look at that, Denny Hamlin's going to give the 3 a huge shove into turn 2. The 3 is going to be starting on the front row for the last lap. The 22 falls back, and it's still so Austin Cindric and Ross Chastain on the cutting block. If they finish in the bottom 2 for this next lap, they'll be eliminated from playoff contention. Austin Dillon's got to thank the 11 for that one, pushing him up to the front row for the last lap. Bottom 2 cars get eliminated. Who's moving on to the round of 8? Let's find out. Looks like Austin Cindric's going to spin in front of the field, and it's anyone can get eliminated here. Look at this. It's going to be Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain getting eliminated. Christopher Bell's on the front row there for the last lap, but loses it, and it's going to be the 22, the 2, the 3, and the 11 moving on to the round of 8 for the John Racer 3X NASCAR Playoffs. And now we have our round of 8 cars decided, and the round of 12 cars eliminated. Unfortunate for Christopher Bell. He had one of the fastest cars in the entire league there, and unfortunately got shuffled back on the last lap, but hey, that is NASCAR racing. So now we've got the round of 8 cars to go. Playoffs are coming to a close. Who do you think's going to take it? All right, after all that racing, we have moved from the round of 12 to the round of 8, and you can see the round of 8 cars in front of you here. So let me explain the seating here. So we're going to have the first place car, Chase Elliott, going up against Denny Hamlin there. We're going to have the 23 and the 3 as well, who finished really high up, going to be leading the second pack here, and then we're going to be doing basically the same kind of thing. The third place cars going up against with the first place cars, the fourth place cars going up against the second place cars. So we've got our round of 8 matchups figured out. There are not going to be 6 cars in each race. It's just going to be the 4 cars. So we're going to take a lane out of the track and continue on with these playoffs. It's getting very close. Let's see who moves on to the round of 4, the final 4. Kicking off the round of 8 with 4 of the fastest cars in the playoffs. Let's see what happens after lap 1. Oh, look at that, a really close matchup. Larson is going to be going around the 9 on the outside, going to manage to sneak his way up to the front row for lap 2. It's going to be Cindric and Elliott behind, trying to chase him down. It's Chase Elliott and Austin Cindric on the chopping block, lap 2. Let's see what happens. A really close matchup between all 3 of the cars in the back. Denny Hamlin absolutely runs away with it, but the 9 and the 2 aren't able to get around the 5. They've got one more lap to do it before they're eliminated from the playoffs, and the top 2 from this next race move on to the Championship 4. It all comes down to this: which 2 cars will move on to the Championship 4, and which 2 cars will be eliminated? Let's find out. Unbelievable scenes. The 11 and Austin Cindric is going to get through. The 2 Hendrick cars wreck on the back straight. That's Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson getting eliminated from the playoffs. Denny Hamlin and Austin Cindric are the first 2 cars punching their ticket to the Championship 4, and unfortunately for Team Hendrick, their cars are out of the playoffs, with Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson not moving on to the next round. But we've got another matchup in the round of 8. Let's see which one of these cars is going to compete in the round of 4. Let's find out. Last round for the round of 8. Let's see which one of these cars is going to move on. A really close matchup. It's going to be Joey Logano, though, racing side by side with the 3 to move up to the front row for lap 2. Austin Dillon falls to the back, and Ryan Blaney does not have the speed to keep up either, as we got 2 more laps to go. Lap 2, those front runners look fast. Remember, the bottom 2 at the end of lap 3 will be eliminated. Let's see who moves on. Look at that, what a lap! The 12 is going to go to the front. The 22 is going to spin out the 23 to put him to the back of the field. And we've got one more lap to go to determine who moves on to the championship 4. This is going to get crazy. Team Penske is on the hunt to get all of their cars into the championship 4. Ryan Blaney starts on pole with the 22 to his outside. Can Bubba Wallace do anything to race back? The bottom 2 get eliminated. Who's going to the champ 4? Look at that, the 23 is going to charge through with the 22 to move on to the next round. Ryan Blaney unfortunately comes up short, as well as Austin Dillon, as they get eliminated in the last round before the championship 4. And after 7 weeks of racing, we've got our final 4 decided. It's Denny Hamlin, Austin Cindric, Joey Logano, and Bubba Wallace going to be doing one more race to see which top 2 will race for the championship in Phoenix, and it's going to get close. Comment down below who you think is going to take it. We've only got a few more races to go. I was not expecting that outcome. We had a ton of fast cars eliminated in the round of 8. Both the 9 and the 5 should have been moving on, as well as that 12 had the speed. But we've got 2 Penske cars and 2 Toyotas, the Denny Hamlin 11 car and the Bubba Wallace 23 car, going to be doing one more race in the final 4 to see which top 2 cars will drag it out in the Phoenix Championship race. Denny Hamlin starting on the pole position on the inside with Logano to his outside. Then we've got Austin Cindric and Bubba Wallace behind. 3 laps to see who gets eliminated and who goes to Phoenix. It's time to figure out which 2 of these drivers will race for the championship in Phoenix. The final 4 starts now. Look at the speed from Bubba Wallace. He's barely going to edge ahead of Denny Hamlin to start on the front row for lap 2. The 22 and the 2 are both going to fall to the back row, and both of these Toyotas are going to be duking it out with 2 laps to go. The 2 fastest cars look to be the Toyotas, but it's lap 2. Anything can happen. Let's see who jostles for position. It's going to be Hamlin holding his lead again over Bubba Wallace versus the 22 and the 2. We got one more lap to go. Which 2 cars are going to battle it out in Phoenix? Team Penske's got one more shot to put one of their car or both of their cars in the championship matchups, but the Toyotas are going to be playing defense. Let's see who the top 2 cars are to race for a championship. Look at that, the Toyotas are going to absolutely run away with it. It's going to be Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace racing to the win, and they are going to be racing for a championship in Phoenix. And here you have it, the 2 cars that are going to be racing for the John Racer 3 X NASCAR Championship. We got Denny Hamlin going up against Bubba Wallace, a Toyota matchup. Who's going to take it in Phoenix? Stay tuned next week. What an unbelievably close matchup, and what a good race from both of these Toyota diecast. Both Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace are going to be racing against each other to see who is going to be the 4th NASCAR JR3 Playoffs Champion. This was an absolutely incredible tournament. Here's where all of the other drivers finished. I rearranged them a little bit based on seeding just to see where they would actually finish in the playoffs. Joey Logano 3rd, Cindric all the way up to 4th, very impressive. Blaney 7th, Briscoe 9th, and Austin Dillon actually racing up to 8th in the playoffs. I was not expecting that as well, but it has been an absolutely incredible matchup filming here on the John Racer 3 Super Speedway, and now it's going to come down to which car can win the 1 versus 1 single lane drag race. We've got Denny Hamlin versus Bubba Wallace. Let's go ahead and see how this video ends.
What's up, y'all? It's Roger Cruz here. We're here with John Racer 3, and we are here for the finale of the JR3 NASCAR Diecast Playoffs with the 23 versus the 11.
All right, who do you think's going to take it, Raja, out of both of these drivers?
2-3, Big Bro's going to take it home, so we'll see.
It's going to be fastest Toyota wins, best 2 out of 3. Let's see who takes it. We've got the 11 on the inside, 23 on the outside. Raja, count us down. Really close at the line, but it's going to be the 23 taking the first win. They're going to switch lanes and do it again.
I told you.
All right, one more win for the 23, and he will be a champion. Raja, count us down.
3, 2, 1, green flag.
really close at the line. It's going to be
Yep.
the 23 taking the win
Told
and
y'all.
becoming new John Racer 3X NASCAR Playoffs Champion. All right, Roger, well, you chose the winner. Bubba Wallace is now an official champion. How's that feel?
Good. I knew I picked right. I picked Big Red to win it, so hopefully we can have the same luck tonight.
Absolutely. I'm cheering you on in Phoenix. Good luck, and hey, we'll have to race some diecast next time.
Sounds good. Thanks, all.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to NASCAR for all of their support, helping me film this series and make my dream a reality. Hopefully we'll be making more NASCAR videos in the future, but comment down below, what do you want to see next on this channel, and who do you think I should race against next? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace!